Yeah, there we are. We are live with James Quigley. A little walkout music here. I got my New York, even though the Yankees are pretty terrible as the time we're recording this. They're underperforming, well below expectations, we'll say. James, you are in St. Pete right now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm St. Pete, Florida.
Yeah,
kind of hanging out at this awesome little boutique hotel.
Nice.
Little craziness.
Pirate women and everything.
Yes. Women dressing up as pirates, for sure.
It's just Florida. Florida
Just
man,
normal.
Florida man, or Florida woman.
Florida. It's just a Wednesday in Florida where you walk into a boutique hotel and there's a bunch of 6-year-old women dressed as pirates.
There you go. Totally normal. We'll take a few steps back here. You and I know each other from the New York City fitness days in the early 2010s. Yeah, we had a lot of crossover, and then we crossed over in the Middle East, and I was in Dubai and you were in Kuwait. But I didn't actually know, I don't think we ever had this deep of a conversation, that you grew up in Brooklyn, which is where I grew up. What area were you in Brooklyn?
Greenpoint.
Greenpoint. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Where were you?
So I grew up all the way down in Seagate, Coney Island.
Oh, okay.
And then I went to Brooklyn Tech and got my doctorate at Long Island University, right on Fort Greene there. So yeah.
You're smart if you went to Brooklyn Tech.
I am.
You were really smart. Brooklyn Tech was for smart people.
That's why I got the doctor thing in my name there. Yeah, man. Yeah, and I married a doctor, PhD. Yeah, we're nerds, man. We're nerds. And I was listening to a podcast you did with where were those guys? I think they were in Auburn University, or there was some SEC school, maybe.
Who was that?
The two younger guys. I don't know their
Sweat It Out podcast?
Yeah, Sweat It Out.
Yeah. Oh, those are great guys, man.
Yeah.
Mendez and Josh.
Yeah,
Josh and Anthony Mendez.
Yeah, so you were just talking about lifelong learning on there, and that's something definitely I resonate with, and I think will come up as a theme in our conversation, hopefully today. But yeah, man, so Brooklyn, you talk about a lot of your past and how that brought you to where you are today, and I do want to focus on the future a little bit, but I also heard you talk about men's groups, and that's something I've gotten into much more recently. Is that something? Yeah, just tell me about your experience with it. What kind of format are you following along, or is that something you stumbled onto?
It's something I wanted to be more intentional with, is male bonding and strong masculine friendships and relationships, not toxic. You know, a lot of the buddies I grew up with, I love them to death. They're still my friends, but they weren't growing in the ways I was growing. And so I looked around me and I didn't have anyone that I can talk to about the things that I was going through and the things that I was experiencing, and all positive, you know, but also there were times where things are not all good. And I don't want to feel like I have to say that they are, or feel like I'm complaining if I'm trying to talk to someone. And so I really wanted to reach out to build these relationships. And as I started to put it out there to the universe, I got invited to a men's night ran by a good friend of mine in Austin. And so I went and I met like 25 amazing men that were just being vulnerable. They were holding space for each other. And I was like, oh, this is amazing. I didn't feel the need to compete. I didn't feel the need to want to coach anyone. I was really comfortable just receiving. So it was cool. And then a buddy of mine, he was there that night, decided he was going to put a men's group together, and wanted to know if I wanted to be a part of it. And I absolutely jumped in, and it's been an incredible experience, and everything that I wanted, I'm getting out of it. I'm getting out good brotherhood, good friendships, the opportunity to just receive, which has made me a much better listener. I like to talk.
But we are from Brooklyn, man.
We like to talk.
If you're from Brooklyn, I'm surprised you're not doing more with your hands right now. But
I've learned to curb it. You know, I've done enough of these where I've learned to curb it. I'm calm. I'm also on vacation, so I'm really relaxed. But I love to talk, and I also, you know, the masculine energy wants to fix everything. It wants to solve your problems. In this group, it was awesome that we don't give each other advice. We just listen. And so that has taught me how to be a better listener. Like when I'm sitting across coaching someone, or, you know, I'm on a date, or, you know, I'm just chatting with a friend. I've learned to really relax, take a deep breath, receive it, and just maybe ask a question or two and not feel like I need to fix their problems.
Yeah, it's really interesting that that's one of your biggest takeaways from that, because I joined a men's group recently myself around the time we moved to Colorado 4 months ago now. And that's been something that we've talked about and caught ourselves on all the time, because most of us, for our jobs, we solve problems, whether it's, physically, for food, nutrition, all these different aspects for me. And then it's, well, you got a lot of noise going on in the back there. That's okay. That's not gonna. That doesn't seem to help.
No, there's a lot going on in here. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's all right. That's all right. I apologize to the listeners, but we're gonna make the best of it. And if it's too much, we'll always redo this, because
Sure.
at the end of the day, that's why I do this podcast. Is Bono's stuff, aka Bono's people, and Bo wants to know more shit. So tell me more stuff. But I'll just say on my reflection on the men's group is, yeah, we've had to catch ourselves saying, like, and we have a process in place for when that problem is presented, and how do we reflect back, and that, changing that language. And it's made me evolve my communication as well, as much as I had numerous tools and felt like I was really good at XYZ. But I really, for anyone out there who's not familiar with men's groups, something that I highly encourage folks to do, whether it's in more formalized version, you have a friend who wants to start some up, you have a group of friends who are willing to sit down and kind of get a little more real, or you need that facilitated. Again, I've had 2 guys on recently who facilitate men's groups. Dan Doty, he's now teaching instructors to start men's groups. So
Awesome.
he was one of the guys there, and they used to be Every Man. That was one of the first men's groups I came across. And then Lee Povey, that's the men's group I'm kind of in now. He was a world-class cycling coach, and now he's shifted over more to that. I'm not enjoying that song in the back of Florida there.
Can't do nothing about it. I've tried.
No, it's all right. So anyway, but yeah, if anyone wants to get in touch with a men's group or figure out how to facilitate something like that, there's a lot out there. And again, with COVID and the mental health struggles, if you listen to any podcast other than this one, I don't have advertising yet, but you're going to hear about BetterHelp. Right? I'm sure if you've listened to any podcast, you've heard that advertisement for mental health counseling. And it's obviously a big enough thing that they're putting a lot of money into mental health counseling just to advertise that. So it's really a big thing. So anyway, unless you have other main thoughts on the men's group stuff, we can jump back over to fitness, which I really want to hear your thoughts. Again, you've been in the space just as long, if not longer than me. I feel like I'm a vet. We're both grizzled vets on this.
Yes, for sure.
And so with everything you've seen and being in Austin physically now, you have a lot of your work online. You're working with coaches all over the world to help guide them. Where do you see this future of fitness going?
Yeah, it's funny. When you want to think about the future, it's always good to go back, right? Always look at your history. And so I've been around long enough to kind of see, like, okay, what are the trends? What are the patterns? What's happened in the past? And 2020 reminded me a lot of 2009, when the economy took a big hit and all of us had to kind of, pivot and figure this thing out, right? At that point, I was running a gym, and the economy. Oh, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm just making I'm making you the centerpiece, my man.
Awesome. So the economy kind of hit us all pretty squared in the face, similar to what 2020 did. And at that point, we had to adjust, we had to adapt. And what it did was it took away the middleman, right? So no longer were we in gyms. We decided to take our individual clients and do 2 things. Either one, bring them down to half hours, or shift everybody into small groups. So group training was not a thing. It was more individual. If you wanted to take a group class, you took like a group X class, like a boxing class or a cycling class. So now we were taking people in these smaller groups, and we were bringing them out to parks. We were hosting them in gymnastics schools, dance schools, wherever we could find space. And we adapted and we adjusted. And I went from making anywhere between $100 an hour to making $400 to $500 in an hour. And so if you're looking back, I think what's going to happen now going forward, it's going to be the same thing, where the middleman's gone. The customer doesn't have to go directly to the gym anymore. They can go to their favorite coach. They can go to their favorite instructor. Now, here's also a really interesting thing what happened in 2009. The blogs started to come on, right? The online space started to kind of take its form a little bit. And there were people offering business coaching, you know, such as Sam Bakashir, Bedros Keuilian, and they were offering you an opportunity how to learn how to grow your personal training business. And they taught you this half-hour thing, they taught you boot camp thing, but they also taught you some sort of online structure where you can learn how to market yourself utilizing blogs. And now the people that invested and they learned, they're world-class these days, like such as a Craig Ballantyne, right? Such as continuing on Bedros Keuilian. These guys are world-class entrepreneurs now. And then there were guys like me. I had an opportunity to invest and learn how to grow my business and learn how to take my business to the next level. And I had limiting beliefs. I had all of these doubts. So I took that money and I invested in a kettlebell certification. And that's what's going to happen today. So you're going to have people who are going to have the opportunity to, or take the opportunity and invest in themselves, learn how to operate their business, because everyone's on an even playing field right now. Everyone is online. Everyone got all of these new customers. Everyone had no choice but to do what this new thing is. So everyone's in an even playing field. Those that are going to invest in themselves, those that are going to learn all the intricacies of business, they're going to go forward. And those who do not are going to go take jobs when it starts to turn back around and go back to the gyms. And that's what happened in 2009 is I took a job back in corporate fitness. And that led me, you know, throughout my journey. So I feel like the future of fitness, technology is going to be here to stay. You got to learn how to use it. If you don't learn how to use technology, you're going to get lost. And the direct to consumer is going to be here for a while. I feel like if you're someone that has a really good personality, someone has a good knack for community, and you understand how to utilize social media to your benefit, you don't have to go take a job. You don't have to go work for someone if you don't want to. That to me, I believe is going to be the next 5 years in the industry. Oh, sorry. Jesus.
All good, man. No, I really, I'm going to put myself back in here. There you go. Yeah, no, I appreciate that. I'm actually going to mute you just in case you do get some background noise. Oh, that's much better. Quiet, but you can hear, you should be able to hear me. That's all good. So again, sorry guys, for James. We caught him on vacation and in the hotel lobby. So, but no, I really appreciate you looking back at that kind of historical perspective. And that's where with age comes wisdom, with experience and all that good stuff. So I guess my question then along those lines, again, looking at the future, I like a lot of the concepts you threw out there, but in my own selfish way, I've been trying to continue to redefine, and I'm working with a business coach. Also, I know you went through the Tony Robbins school. She's in that Tony Robbins kind of space as well, with different stuff going on, different PhDs and masters and all sorts of different fun stuff. But yeah, so we're taking it at kind of a holistic approach. So my question is, with what I offer, I'm gonna get free business advice from the James Quigley here. So we hear this concept a lot of what problem are you actually solving, right? So for me, I'm trying to focus on this long term. I call it a physical retirement plan, right? I'm trying to figure out, again, in this fitness space that you're seeing, you're talking about the one-on-ones, you're talking about using the technology. What do you see as kind of coming out of COVID too? Are people saying like, help me work out better at home, or I need someone in my face, or we're going to talk about something more serious? We're going to look at my blood work. We're going to look at how fast I can run, how, you know, so I guess I want the inside tracker, your input for myself, selfishly, and my business on, is there a trend that you're noticing there? Are people starting to pay more attention to that long-term health? Has COVID been a bit of a wake-up call, which my answer is no. But unfortunately, but in terms of, hey, the fitter you are, the healthier you are, the more you can avoid a lot of these healthcare systems. Of course, we can go down the path of vaccinations and masks and all that fun stuff. We're not going to do that today, though. But yeah, let me know if that question makes sense. Of where do you see the big, what problem is there at this point of the folks taking in and absorbing the fitness space?
Yeah, that's a great question. And that's what I teach, understand what problems do you solve. I think people too get too wrapped up in a niche where it's like, I help men 35 to 45. And it's like, well, you can't help a guy that's 34. You can't help a guy that's 30. It's about the problems. And so you solve very specific problems. Now, in order for you to get more people or help more people, you've just got to be able to speak their language. So understanding your own consumer, understanding the men that, or the women, the people that are dealing with those problems, what's the language that they're using to describe it, right? Like you and I, we can talk about this really technical, and we can get really down and dirty with the jargon. But for your customer, they may be saying something very simple, like I just want to feel better, right? So what does that mean? And so we have to figure out what their language is and when they're describing their own problems. Now, as far as the consumer is concerned, I think the more people like yourself are talking about it on social media, on these other platforms, you're going to turn those tides away a little bit from the basic marketing that takes place in the fitness industry, right? The basic marketing that takes place in the industry is about looking your best. It's about aesthetics, right? And it's about somewhat performance. So if there's more conversation, there's more dialogue about your health. And I think it is turning, because you're looking at people talking more about, a growth versus a fixed mindset. They're talking more about healing inner child work. They're talking more about solving bigger problems. So I think the future is educating the consumer, but we just have to understand, we have to enter the conversation in their mind. So we have to use really simple language to get them to kind of enter into our sphere. Another thing is, how do you distract them? How do you get their attention? Right? So you have all this information, Bo, right? I know you can solve anyone's problems, but how do they know that? Right? And so they're on social media. It's going to get loud for a second. Hold on. Hold on.
I'm holding.
Hi.
Saying hi. Saying hi.
Little family passed me by. I love it. So everyone's on social media to not learn. Most people are on social media to be distracted. And so for someone that's going to be talking about these bigger, greater problems, it's just, how can you simplify it to capture someone's attention in that 3 to 5 second span that we have while they're scrolling, and then hook them in so that they can listen a little bit more intently. Does that answer your question?
It does. I agree with you that I guess I'm going to rephrase it. And so this is a men's group thing also. I'm going to say back to you what I think you said, and I want to make sure I heard you correctly. So when it comes to complicated emotions and things like that, and again, in the men's group specifically, that I've learned from, it's a good tool to have. So one of my oversimplifications of kind of what I heard you say is, the attention spans are getting shorter. People might be more open to these deeper, more valuable messages. It's just figuring out, again, how to really stay at the same pace as technology. So, again, a lot of folks are like, jump on TikTok, Bo. You got to be on TikTok. If you're not on TikTok, you're going to miss all the kids or whatever. Yeah. But that's what it is. So I guess, again, phrasing back to you, whether it's on Instagram, I have a decent presence on Instagram, but to grow that, I need to find ways to or be as simple as possible. And again, what's going to catch someone's attention of, like, and again, I go on there to learn as much as possible. I like being entertained too. I'll follow some different accounts, but at the same time, I'm on there to learn and see what's going on in the industry and physical therapists in the fitness space. So is that kind of summarizing what it is you're getting at?
Yeah, absolutely. There are people on there to learn. I love it. I love to learn from certain coaches and to follow people and to kind of get some insight. But let's be real. Let's be honest. Most people are on there to just get distracted, right? And so if we can meet them where they are, if we can enter the conversation in their mind, then we have the potential to help them a lot faster and a lot, effectively, or more effectively.
Yeah. And 2 days ago, I did a podcast with Frank Benedetto, who's a physical therapist, and he's trying to change. He does a lot of work with Counter-Strike and MMA guys, UFC. And his big thing is he's also kind of business coach, if you will. But he's all about reverse engineering the problem. So if the problem is, again, wanting to look good naked, it's how do we get somebody there? And we don't have a simple system. It's $40 a month, and I'm going to send you these workouts, and you're going to do this high intensity, whatever. And again, looking at the trends of this past year and the lockdown, right? Peloton is a huge thing. And again, I'm over here being like, hey, maybe you want to add a little bit of something to supplement that extra shitty position that you're in for, you're already in a shitty position. So, it's getting, and to your other point there that it made me think of, I'm going to kind of, ramble on about this, I guess, but it's people want that short-term fix, and people, and I'm, my clientele, my tribe, I'd rather have 100 really good followers who are engaged than 100,000 who, you might get one comment here or there, which I see all the time on people who have these huge accounts. And it's like, there's not a lot of engagement. I'd rather have, again, somebody understanding the concept and asking me a serious question. I tried that thing you said, Bo, and I felt this. Is that normal? And so, I got to continue to deliver my messaging better and better. But at the same time, I'm going to continue to try to be as authentic as I can about the fact that I believe in this mix of fitness and healthcare, and redefining fitness is my whole thing. Not to make it all about me, but yeah, man. So I've been really enjoying this process, and again, reaching out to guys like you who continue to help us kind of focus on where we need to go and how to change the way we're marketing to folks. And funny side note, or this kind of leads to the next question, I guess, is one of my recent guests. Also, he's one of my high school guidance counselors at Brooklyn Tech. And he is now doing public speaking coaching. And so he actually he has a podcast, and his main business is helping people prepare specifically for TEDx talks. So when he was on my podcast, he kind of, I was asking him a bunch of questions, and he threw it back to me and said, if you had a TED talk tomorrow, what would be the theme? And so I kind of on the spot, I was like, oh, it's something that I've definitely kind of had rattling around, but maybe not in that exact context. And I've really enjoyed that concept. And my answer is, and it is something I've actually done a few rough drafts of, and I'm going to continue to refine it. And actually, he's having me on his podcast. They're in season 3. They're a little more structured there, but I want to redefine fitness, including like vital signs, where again, currently we're not looking at that kind of stuff of how many pull-ups can you do, how much can you deadlift, that kind of thing, and narrowing that message down in order to fix this broken healthcare system we have, and getting people to care. And again, people care about Peloton, but how do I get them to care about something within Peloton that actually says, hey, when you're 60, you won't need a total hip replacement because of you have this range of motion, you have this control, the more in-depth conversation. So it is trying to simplify a complicated topic. So I guess my question to you is, if you had that TED Talk, I'm going to steal from Mark Williams. Anyone wants to go check out that episode, is what would that TED Talk look like?
Great question. I think, shout out to Mike Bledsoe. He asked me a question. I met Mike, Mike, right? He used to be Barbell Shrug. Now he does exactly what I did. And we had an opportunity to meet. And he asked me a great question. He goes, what's your superpower? And I was like, oh, that's a great question. So I kind of look at it as the same thing. I would say taking complicated thoughts, taking complicated practices, and simplifying them for people to understand and execute, and how to do that, and how to have fun, how to make it enjoyable.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Especially for people that are teachers, people that are influencers or content creators or coaches. You have all of this wealth of knowledge. Well, how do you take all of this and then go teach it for someone else to enjoy it, be able to execute it, and then maybe they can go and teach it, and they can go and pass on that information. So I would say my TEDx talk would definitely be how to make complicated shit simple. That's going to be the title too. Complicated shit simple.
Make complicated shit simple. I love it, man.
That'll sell a book or two.
Absolutely. Was it the Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck was a bestseller, and all that stuff. Oh, now we have to mark this explicit. I dropped an F-bomb.
Oh,
I
did. The shit's not explicit, is it?
I don't think anyone cares, and There's like
Okay, good.
there's like 1 million podcasts currently out there. There's just a flood of everyone grabbed a microphone and started speaking. And speaking of, I found your podcast. What happened there, man?
Oh, I'm glad you asked that. So I love getting coached now. Like, I will always be coach. I will always have a coach. And I had left the gyms and I was starting the podcast. I was in the life coaching program with Tony, and I was trying to get this business program going, and I wanted to do an event. And my coach simply asked me, he was like, "What rabbit do you really want to chase?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, a podcast is great, but it's really just content, right? You're just creating content. So it's not really going to bring you in anything. He's like, "You want to do this event, but what's that event really going to help you to plug?" He's like, "What's the thing that you really want to do right now? What's the thing that's going to give you the most bang for your buck?" And I was like, "The coaching program." And he's like, "Well, there you go." He's like, what if you just did the coaching program for the next year or two and grew it to where it's, possibly a 7-figure business, and, you've been able to help this number of coaches you want to help? What if you just did that? And then once you feel like you're able to get on to the next phase, then you bring in, the podcast back in, and then you do the event. And now the podcast and the event can serve your coaching business. What if you did that? And I was just like, "Thanks, coach." So that's where it went. So I'll come back to it. I'll circle back to it. But right now I'm in the phase where I'm just literally have blinders on, and I'm just focusing on coaches and helping them establish their businesses.
Perfect. I love it. Yeah, man. And I heard you say it on the other podcast, the master of none, jack of all trades kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen the most recent episode of that show, by the way. Very, very big.
No.
Deep.
There's a third season?
They just released it, yeah.
Oh my God, I love that. That's one of my favorite
different.
shows. Really?
Change your expectations. He got very. I think because of before the last season or after the last season came out, that's when his whole Me Too thing came out. Aziz Ansari, and then since then, I think he's tried to shift the focus away from himself, and it's very Woody Allen, artistic.
Okay.
People doing laundry for 2 minutes that you're watching. But there's a theme. I'm able to appreciate. Anyway, just a quick. It's worth checking out.
I love talking TV.
Yeah, I'm waiting for one of my best friends. He had a podcast about movies and TV, and I'm trying to nail him down. We were gonna do a top 10 movies kind of argument, debate, whatever. What should be on that list? What shouldn't? So quick, top 3 movies ever of all time. Go.
Oh, Top Gun, absolutely, number 1. Number 2, number 2, Rad. Number 2 is Rad. Yeah, people probably were like, "What the hell is Rad?" I'm very superficial. I love those 2 things. And then I'm gonna say When We Were Soldiers with Mel Gibson.
Okay.
Yeah, those are probably my top 3 right there for all different reasons. But I love those 3 movies.
Nice. I like it. Very unique answers. And Top Gun. I don't know when are they going to release that second one? It's supposed to be any day now.
It's supposed to come out.
I think they're trying to make sure they get the money in the theater release.
It was smart. Sure. I think it was smart. But my men's group, we actually did a movie night. You can rent out the Alamo. You can rent out the Alamo Draft House. And so we didn't get it. We wanted to do that. We didn't. But then we just ended up buying 10 tickets, and we all we had a men's movie night. Everyone brought their significant others if they had a date, and it was great. And everyone was so excited to go back to the theaters.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of interesting fears and that first hug back in public.
I know. Before COVID, as COVID was happening, right? You saw Warren Buffett say, "Oh, the airline industry is not coming back." You heard people say the gym industry is not coming back. You heard the movies industry is not coming back. Fuck that. People are flying more than ever. I was just on it. It was packed. Yeah. Right. The movies are packed. Gyms are coming back also. Right. These industries are not going anywhere. People want them. It was just obviously we had to take a break.
Yeah, we heard the same thing. New York is not. is never going to be the same again. And
they're going to get that mayor out, and there's going to be a new mayor, and it will come back. Everything's secular. Everything's secular. Everything comes back around again.
I think you mean circular, but I got you.
Told you I'm not as smart as you.
Secular? I'm not sure what's.
I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means.
That's okay, man.
It just felt normal first. Is it secular? Cycles, right? It's cycles.
I got where you were going with. I could have let it go, but I'm still working on my.
The extent of my intelligence, what I'm displaying here.
I'm still working on my nitpicking. That's fine. I don't mean to pick on it, but
no. That's why we work well together.
Balance each other out. Yeah, you mentioned you like to talk earlier, and yeah, that was the big thing when you were in the 2 times we overlapped in Kuwait. You were doing the announcing, big MC. That's the big. I think you're probably your biggest fame, maybe.
Yeah, and it's funny how that happened. I just kind of fell into that. That came from doing events in New York and yelling and screaming, and that's what you had to do to promote yourself as a trainer or as a fitness personality in New York, was to get outside of the gym. So that's where that fell in. And then the Battle of the East in Kuwait was happening, and I was like, dude, I want to MC this thing. And I remember specifically Diego saying, no, you're going to run it. He's like, no, you're going to run it. You got a lot of responsibility. I was like, no. I want to MC this thing. And like, it was not until like a few days before where he was like, fine, okay, but just make sure all your responsibilities are done for the operational side. And it was great. And that was the start of my career.
Yeah, man. Are you still doing some of that, or live events are coming back now? I know.
Yeah. So I've been doing it for this obstacle course race that's taking place here in the States. It's a German-based company. I think it's the future of events. I love what they're doing.
I think I've heard of this. What's it called?
High Rocks.
I think I heard of it. There was a client out. There's a client out here.
Promotion I'm on.
Nice, yeah. There was a client out here in Denver that I connected with. That her husband, I think, is one of the founders, or he's helping run it. I don't know his.
In Colorado.
Yeah,
Eric Emerson.
Maybe.
Yeah, they just moved to Colorado too. Good people, man. Definitely good people to get in touch with.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, definitely we'll do that off once we're off there. Cool, man. Yeah, let's jump back to your business. I want to make sure you got a good plug for what you do. I think we touched on it, but your ideal client is somebody who is in the fitness space and wants to better clarify their complicated messaging. Is that?
So right now I'm really focusing on coaches who either don't have an online business or who haven't really established a successful online business, right? So I'm helping them to get online, helping them to really clear or clarify their message so they can learn how to make more money in less time.
Yeah, perfect. That's the sale. 20-second elevator pitch right there. Perfect.
Oh, told you, simplifying it.
Simplify it. Simplify shit. Shit simplification. That's the.
As I think about it, there's obviously more things that I'm also passionate about. I'm very passionate about. At one day, I want to go back and I want to help, impoverished communities rise up. That's where I'm from. We didn't grow up with a lot. My family did a lot of illegal things to make things happen for us, and so that we can survive. And it's all things that I just was never taught. I was never taught money. I was never taught wealth. I was never taught how to actually be successful as just a normal human in life, right? Those are just things that are not taught. Even though I went to Catholic school, and they just never taught us that. I knew how to kneel. I knew how to pray, which was good. But I knew how to play sports, but I was just never taught the basic functions of being a human in society. And so I'm very passionate about potentially going back and helping children, helping young adults really understand how to be successful.
Yeah, no, that's phenomenal. I'm happy to hear that, man, for sure. I love it. Yeah, anything else we should know about your business, or what's the best way for people to reach out to you? I know you mentioned if you're still offering was it a free call or?
Yeah. So if you're a coach right now and you're struggling in your business, maybe, you went online and you're operating on Zoom calls, or you just had to go back to the gym, but now you realize, man, there's more opportunity out there and you just don't know where to begin. That's normally where it is. Like, I just don't know where to start. You have all of these ideas. How do I organize them? So what I love to do is if you go to www.amplifyonlinecoach.com, there's a free training there for everyone that they can go there, and it's literally 3 simple shifts to taking your business online without having to invest in technology. So that's the first place to start. From there, once you get that free training, you can literally schedule yourself a free consultation with me, and we'll jam out and we'll really get you to we'll take that information and help you to dial it in so you can take it online like that.
Perfect. Amplifycoaching.com?
Amplify Online Coach.
Amplify Online Coach. Oh, I'm going to put that in the comments here. AmplifyOnlineCoach.com. There it is. It's in the chat there, and we'll pop it up on the screen here. Boom.
Look at that. I love
Boom.
that.
Amplify.
I like StreamYard.
StreamYard is fun, except for the backwards and
I know. Like, my right hand is not really where I think it should be.
Every time I go to fix my hair, I'm like, oh, whoa. Anyway, awesome, brother. So yeah, I want to be respectful of your time. Finally quieted down though. Now that we have some quiet, we're gonna wrap it up. Very cool. And yeah, I think we'll leave it there. I really like everything we covered. Again, if you guys want to check out more about James, he's all over the internets there. There's a lot of James Quigleys though. I did try to find what other videos you're on, and the CEO of Deloitte is named James Quigley. I'm sure you do know. And there's a Reverend James Quigley.
There is. Yeah. A buddy of mine gave me some good advice. He was like, take ownership of your intellectual property. Mm-hmm. He's like, so your name is intellectual property, right? So make sure, like, when people Google you, that you pop up. And so I've been trying to fix that.
Yeah.
I'm learning too. I'm a student. I don't think I'm a master of anything. So this is something that I'm trying to master, is this whole internet space, right? I got to reach out to our buddy Tao. He could probably help me out with that a lot more than I know. He was a guest on here.
Yeah, he was a guest on here recently also. So
I love that guy. He's probably one of the, he's I'm going to say he's the second the smartest man I know, as to first being you.
No, right? He's on your show. I appreciate that, but he went to Harvard. He's like 10 years younger than me or so. And,
I know, he's such a baby, but yet he's one of the smartest and most nicest people you're ever going to meet.
Yeah, for sure. There's some interesting stories we could certainly tell about him. And anyway, he's a good dude for sure. Go check out a few episodes ago. We had him on here. Awesome. He was nice enough to jump on, and he has his own podcast. He's the co-founder of barbend.com, which is a huge fitness space that, again, covers CrossFit, functional fitness, Olympic weightlifting, all this fun sports, strongman. There was no such website before. I remember him sitting down with me, one of my visits from Dubai. And he told me about this idea, and he wanted to make sure I was excited about it before he pushed ahead, which I appreciated. But yeah, super smart dude. All right, man. Well, I really, really appreciate it. I think there were some awesome takeaways here. Again, guys, if you enjoyed the conversation, if you're still listening, watching, please like, share, subscribe, comment, reach out to either of us, leave some questions. We'll get back to it soon. Check out James's free training if you're a coach trying to build your online presence. And awesome. We'll sign off. Any last thoughts?
Make sure you take care of yourselves, the team. Like, you can't pour from an empty cup. Make sure what taking care of yourself doesn't mean just going in the gym and just crushing yourself. Like, really take some time to focus on your mental and emotional health. When you do that, everything comes with you, right? Your business, don't put your business first, put you first, and then your business will come with you.
Yeah, I did. I actually wrote that down. I wanted to, we lost the thread there. We jumped onto another path, but I did write that down. Again, having taken in a lot of your content over the last few days, I really want to applaud you for sharing that journey of coming back from Kuwait, kind of going down maybe the not so great path, and then going into this path of self-discovery, internal work. I'm sure the men's group sounds like it helped a lot. You got to take care of yourself. And again, there's all sorts of different ways to think about that. That again, a lot of folks might not have the best definitions of right now, but it's connecting to, you know, guys like us. I think we're trying to put our energy out there. Again, I've had a few folks listen into to some of my podcasts and some of the takeaways and say, and, you know, I'm really happy to say I've gotten a few clients out of it, and I've gotten a few really good side conversations that have allowed me to make some change for some folks. And then another part of it too is my high school football, Brooklyn Tech, our football team, we actually now have a monthly Zoom call to allow everyone to kind of check in on our mental health. I'm going to mute you there. Woo! Okay, that was loud. Anyway, on that note, I really appreciate that. And I'm going to have the last word, unfortunately, because it's so loud over there. But yeah, really appreciate you being on, my buddy. And that was a weird, my buddy. And we're going to sign off. But yeah, guys, if you enjoyed it, again, like, share, subscribe, comment, review, all that good stuff for podcasts. And let me know what else you want to hear, see. Maybe we'll do a part 2 in a few months and see how the evolution has gone, especially as we're both growing as men, as humans, and as businessmen as well. So yeah, we'll leave it off there. Get 1% better today, guys.